Brought to you by Penguin. A Thimbleful of Hope by Evie Grace. Read by Penelope Freeman.
Chapter 1. The Lock and Key of England. Summer 1864. "Make haste, or we'll miss the event of the year," Violet called as she tied the ribbons of her bonnet and checked her appearance in the mirror in the hall. She was pleased with what she saw. A slim figure, white blonde hair scraped back into plaited loops at the nape of her neck, striking blue eyes, well-defined cheekbones and full lips. The only feature she would change if she could was her nose, which she felt was a little too large for her face.
"Oh, do stop admiring yourself,"
Eleanor teased as she hurried down the stairs.
"You're so vain."
"I'm not," Violet said, feeling hurt. "I like to look my best, that's all, little sister." She put the emphasis on little, Eleanor being a head shorter than she was. "What do you know about anything? You're only 15.
"Stop sparring, you two."
Ottilie joined her sisters from the parlour.
"You know how it upsets Mamma to see you at each other's throats."
Violet backed down. She looked up to Ottilie in more ways than one, being a few inches shorter than her. Her elder sister was 20 to her 18. Her hair was blonde, but darker like honey, and she wished she could be more like her, self-controlled and content with her lot.
"Where's Mamma?"
Violet picked up her parasol from the hall stand.
"I'm on my way,"
she heard her mother say.
"You are overwrought. Perhaps you should remain at home with Eleanor later this evening." "And not go to the ball? Oh, Mamma!"
Violet turned to her mother, who was standing on the bottom step of the staircase, with a shawl around her slender shoulders and a fashionable straw hat over her silver hair.
"How can I present you to Dover society when you can't go about with the decorum that befits a young lady of your age? You're 18.
"I'm sorry," Violet said, feeling contrite. She had promised to behave herself.
"Are we all ready?"
"Yes, Mamma," the three sisters said in unison, and they stepped outside into the bright June sunshine.
"I wish you a good day, ladies,"
Wilson said, holding the door open. Their butler was an older gentleman in his 50s, who'd been with the Rayfields for as long as Violet could remember. He was well-spoken and always smartly dressed, with his hair oiled and fingernails kept blunt and clean. Violet glanced up at the house as he closed the door behind them. It was one of 10 four-storey yellow brick houses that ran in a terrace between New Bridge and Wellesley Road. Everyone who called on them acknowledged that their home in Camden Crescent was one of the best addresses in Dover. Having put up their parasols, they began to walk in the direction of the seafront, skirting the lawns where a military band was playing next to a crowded marquee. They passed the war memorial dedicated to the soldiers of the 60th Rifles who were lost in the Indian Rebellion, then crossed the road to reach the sweeping curve of the promenade. Violet couldn't believe her eyes. Their town had been invaded by hundreds, no thousands of people from all over the kingdom who were cheering and waving flags as they looked out at the yachts in Dover Bay. There were other vessels too, skiffs, herring boats, galleys and pleasure boats. She hastened on ahead of her mother and sisters, but Mamma soon called her back.
"Violet, what have I said?"
"That I should behave with decorum," she sighed. But she didn't think her mother had heard her above the calls of the street sellers at their stalls, offering bags of shrimp, pots of winkles, confectionery and ginger beer.
"Buy, buy, buy. Beautiful whelks, a penny a lot, you'll never taste better. Strawberries ripe, the best you can find in all of Kent."
The Rayfield ladies wended their way through the crowds, using their parasols to fend off those who were in their cups, until they reached the shingle and emerged onto the beach between the rows of sea-bathing machines and herring boats. Tasting salt on her lips, and with the scent of tar, fish and seaweed in her nostrils, Violet looked towards the sea, where the rowing boat crews, 4-oared galleys, were preparing for their race.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?